Hello everybody, we are back. Today we're just going to be doing some coloring for this next comic page, because I'm very far behind on my work, and this is the perfect time to get it done with more entertainment than usual. Yes, you guys figured out the big mystery of it all. It's clearly these Boar children are the ones kidnapping people. No, very quiet. That's not good. Is it quiet for everybody? Okay, no. That's Jasper messing with me. Never mind. Anyways, so we're going to be coloring today. As you can see, there's a fun new character on this page. She is introduced on the page that goes up on Webtoon tomorrow. She's only in it for exactly one panel, and all that you learn about her is her name is Cherry. So, let's get into it. We're going to start with the matriarch. Unfortunately, I had to come in like 10 minutes before the stream started, and for some reason the palette had deleted all of the matriarch stuff I had added in a while ago, so I had to re-input all of it, which was really annoying. So this time I'm gonna remember to export it when I'm done, to save it somewhere. And yes, the piglets were trying to draw their ABCs, but I do like the idea that they were trying to write out ACAB on this random brick wall. Or stone wall, I should say. Is it normal to want to go into Graycove and want to give them modern medical technology because I don't want these guys to be in pain? I don't think modern medical technology would translate very well. They wouldn't necessarily have the same, like, physiology as a human, so like human treatments probably wouldn't have the same outcome. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know what would happen, and I'm not a vet either, but I feel like not everything transfers over correctly, especially if there's like a really big guy and or a really small guy. I really like the weird little shape I gave the matriarch on her fur pattern here, but I feel like I change it every single time I draw it. So don't look back at the old comic pages too closely. Marshall asked the qualified critter in your household how medicine would translate to Graycove. I'll try, but my snake has not been that good at responding to my questions. I don't think he knows English. Oh, is Jasper the qualified critter? I thought you meant my snake Aster, because he was based off of the... Or I gave him a little PhD. The house goblin. Yeah, I made Aster a little PhD when I first got him, because that's the proper use of owning Photoshop. But his PhD is in toxicology. Is Aster yellow colored like they appear in the Snake YouTube shorts? Yes, he is. He looks a little more white right now because he's in the middle of... he's about to go into shed. So I haven't been able to take him out for a few days. But he's good. Just gonna come right out and ask, would I be correct in saying Hazel spots only glow when she bends, pops her back, or gets hurt, like with the hyena encounter or similar circumstances? Yes. Those are the main things that trigger it. When I was first planning out the glowing spots, I thought it'd be funny if each species had like a different trigger, so like the deer would be you have to like pop her bone or a joint, whatever, and then some of them would be like if they sneeze and like or cough or something, like just random non-painful acts that would just set it off. But just for simplicity's sake, I think we're gonna go off of just popping like a joint or actually like getting injured, getting hurt in some way. How goes it? I just woke up. Nothing like waking up at 3:30 a.m. Oof, that's rough, dude. Also, like always, we messed around with the audio again. So hopefully you won't hear as much background noise from us anymore, especially because Jasper is enjoying some Pokemon right now and our controllers are really loud for some reason. But if it makes me hard to hear, just let me know and we will mess around with it a little bit more. Yeah, GameCube controllers are very clickety-clackety. But hopefully you also won't be hearing my super creaky office chair or if I'm typing, or if my laptop fan is going off, or, you know, any other hundreds of sounds in the house. That would mean it's dry bioluminescence rather than traditional bioluminescence. I don't know the difference, my guy. I am just doing what I feel like doing and making my own rules because I am the god of this world and not a scientist. So I'm gonna take your word for it. Like a scratch and sniff. Okay, looks like that's all the matriarch's colors. And a little bit of her vest would be peeking through right here. Okay, now we can do the vulture. I made the vulture's eyes look a little too cat-like in this one, but I can fix that later. That's fine. Does Hazel or Griff have any mutation allergies? Yeah, I'm not really sure what you mean. Also, suddenly don't remember how I colored the vulture last time. So let me pull up a reference real quick. Okay, his whole back is the darker shade. Okay, that's good. Like, do certain normal human things affect them differently to their mutations or something? That's a good question. I'm not really sure because I haven't thought about that yet. Hello, thank you for joining us. We are just doing some coloring this week of the next Graycove page. The one that we're working on right now will be up next Friday, I believe. chapters, these spots close sometimes. Yeah, Luke's definitely putting a lot more scientific thought into it than I have at any point in time. The entire idea started because I was like, it'd be funny if she glowed like a glow stick when her back would pop. And then found a way to incorporate it into the lore. I can't believe I didn't know there was an actual webcomic. How many pages are there so far? I think we hit like 55? Yeah, 55 or 56? Because we're on the 5th chapter and there's probably an average of like 10 pages per chapter. If you count the mid-chapter parts, there's I think like 65 updates. So if you don't count that, if you're only counting the pages, there's about 55. And each page probably takes a minimum of like 8 hours if I had to guess, but I've never actually timed myself while I was making them. Because usually I have to do it over a couple of days. That. Time to color Cherry and see if I can remember where all of her colors go. She has the same color palette as the matriarch for her like fur or body, whatever you want to call it. But I switched everything all around a little bit. This one is the base color. Yeah, it's Cherry. She's introduced in the page that goes up tomorrow, and yeah, all that you learn is that her name is Cherry. So feel free to throw out any theories you have about her, just from seeing her in these panels with no context, I guess. Matriarch's daughter, I mean, also is foster, so that's not much to go off of. I mean, if you follow the matriarch's logic, then every single female hyena in the camp is her daughter as well. So a little vague, gotta keep going. Here's that stuff you wanted, matriarch. That's funny. Hey, game over. Thank you for joining us. What did I miss? Not very much. We only just got started. We're just coloring in page 16 of the webcomic, which should be up next Friday. Definitely getting the vibe that these are not humans. Oh my gosh, what gave it away? Carpet ruiner. Halo, I think they're also not human, it's just a theory though. That's funny. Guys, what if they're animals but like people animals? That's funny. Next thing you know, they'll be developing languages and societies. I only have some of Jerry's color palette picked out, because you only see her from about the shoulder up in the page that goes up tomorrow. So we're gonna be figuring out what this belt situation is gonna look like in a minute here. Her earring is the same color as the matriarch's. Oops. fact speaking English, and their main alphabet is also from English, and there's a reason for that that I cannot get into, because it's a spoiler. That's a fun idea, post a whole page in a made-up Graycove language for April Fools. That would be kind of fun. Creating a new language does sound like a thing that Jasper would love to do. Oh, they actually do speak English. I just assumed it was sort of a translation thing for legibility. Like they had their own language and we just read in English. Yeah, no, they speak English. Partially because I want them to be able to go into like the ruins of human society and be able to read like billboards and signs and stuff like that. Not everyone can read, like look at Russell for example. But yeah, English is one of their main languages. Oh, the Matriarch's colors. Yeah, the Matriarch definitely has the biggest color palette out of every single character so far. She also has her own mouth palette. Everyone else, I just use a standard, where is it? Yeah, teeth, tongue, mouth, and that's kind of it. But the Matriarch needed her own colors. There it is. Okay. Where that arm go? Wrong answers only. Just hiding it in her non-existent shirt. That's funny. Matriarch battle cage match. next week we're gonna get a Luke theory about where their language originated from and how that affects their culture. Meanwhile, Jasper confirmed they forgot the English. The character spoke English. I mean, there'll be other groups that speak non-human languages. But yeah, this group in the Graycove area speaks English for reasons I'm not gonna tell you about. Any more than I've already told you about it anyways. I knew this feather thing was gonna get really annoying to draw the minute I designed it, and I was correct. But thankfully, Cherry's only gonna be in the next couple of pages and then the chapter is over. Yeah, I guess since they're animals, all languages are non-human now. Fair point. Is there like a set number of societies that exist in the comic, or is it sort of ambiguous? It's definitely ambiguous. I was about to say more on it, but I'm worried what I would have said would be a spoiler, so I'm gonna stop myself in my tracks and just say, yeah, there would be societies everywhere. It's ambiguous. This feather color is the exact same color as the backdrop. That's fun. If we were detectives, one thing to look to is what did all the disappearance victims have in common, if anything. Disappeared animals are actually just people in Party City animal suits and nobody noticed. That's funny. Yeah, they're all secretly huge Halloween fans. That's the link. And right after after I told you guys that they don't celebrate Halloween. Arm theory chainsaw attachment. That's funny. When I was first making her design, there was one version that Jasper really liked where she had like a big leather brace kind of going to her other shoulder and covering the arm. Which I still like, but I didn't end up going with. And we were gonna have attachments that she would be able to like clip onto the end, similar to the goblin rig I showed a couple weeks ago, I think. But then I decided to go with this design, which I like more, obviously, or else I wouldn't have chosen it. She hasn't grown her adult arms yet, it's just her baby arms falling off. There should be a story arc where Cherry is given a pirate hook from Russell. That could be a funny, like one-page short comic in between chapters. A lot of people were also asking for more background on the matriarch, so I thought it'd be cool to do one similar to The Day in the Life of Herb, where it's like single snapshots with no dialogue. Except I was gonna do it from different like periods throughout her life. Anyone else get bugged when YouTube springs up, pauses the stream and says, "It's 5 hours until you must wake up. This is your reminder to sleep"? I didn't know YouTube did that. That's very strange. Yeah, I liked designing the Matriarch's younger version. It was very fun. So yeah, I might do that at some point. Okay, what color do I want this belt to be? I kind of want it to be more... I'm trying to keep her color palettes, like besides the gray, more orange and blue. So I think an orangey brown will be nice. Another question, were you and Jasper the voice actors for Hazel and Russ in the 100k sub short? Jasper was. He was Russell, but I got my manager from my old bookstore to do the Hazel voice. I'm not a fan of voice acting of any kind. When I know I'm being recorded, my voice tends to get very, very monotone. I don't think I'd be a very good voice actor, and she's had slightly more experience with it, so I was like, do you want to be in a video? So I don't have to do it. Okay, I like that color, I think. Do one slightly darker for her knife. I think for this side bag as well. I think that's good. Okay, we'll use the matriarch's brace metal for the metal in here, because that's just easier. And they already share so many colors, they can keep sharing. Okay, just a nice green for these plants here. And a little darker than that. As I think we've mentioned before, I really like strong, badass female characters like Furiosa and Ellen Ripley, so seeing more of the matriarch would be a treat for sure. Yeah, that would be nice. I don't know exactly how much more we're gonna see her throughout the series. I do know of some future stuff that's gonna happen with the Hyena clan, but obviously I don't want to get into it because I don't want to spoil anything. But yes, I like her character a lot too. I meant more like the day in a life mini comic for the matriarch. Yeah, I really want to do that at some point. I might do that in between the next, like at the end of this chapter before the next one, since she'll be fresh in everyone's memory still. Yeah, I have a couple of different ideas in mind for those short in-between comics. Malicious sweetheart, temporary happy if pushed to limits. Okay, then we could see her palm color through the glass, but it would be a little bit darker. So I'll bring that down a little bit. In the first stream, we confirmed Hazel could beat up Zeno, the ancient Greek philosopher. Well, I would love to stay, but I'm exhausted. Well, thank you for joining us, Encrypted Fox. Not the most exciting stream this week, but hopefully it was still entertaining. Everything in this first panel, so we'll move on to the next one. Graycove 2 Russell's Revenge. Greetings, Graycovers. Hey, Fiddlezone, thank you for joining us. Graycove 3, the Russell ending. Yeah, the entire Russell's Revenge is just him having beef with some random bird that happens to live nearby Graycove. Oh man, I loved when Cherry looked directly at the camera and said blank. You know, I have all the dialogue figured out, obviously, because I wouldn't just post empty panels for the pages, but I can't show you guys. You gotta have something to wait for on Webtoon. She also has cheek spots. Where did I decide? Right, yes. Okay, she has the same cheek spots as the matriarch. She's a little too big. Let's try that again. And I also gave her some spots on her shoulders. Yeah, okay. Now I think I got everything. Yeah. You guys are talking about Alien a lot, which is a very good franchise, but I feel like every single time I watch an Alien movie, I immediately forget every single plot point that happened. Like, obviously, I remember the first one, and that's about it. And I know for a fact I've watched most, if not all of them. One of them has Winona Ryder kissing Ripley? I fully do not remember that. And Ripley was a clone? Maybe I just haven't seen these movies. I feel like I know logically I have seen them, but some part of my brain just deleted all of that information, I guess. Why do aliens/robots always have to be bad in movies? Can't they be chill? Yeah, like on one hand I get it. Anytime I see a video of them being like, this is a new home robot, I'm always like, I can't trust that. Bad. But games like Detroit Become Human, where they have robots that are sentient and, you know, they're dealing with all of those subjects, are some of my favorites. this robot talk just reminded me that for a little while in the very early Graycove stages, I played around with the idea of Hazel and Russell finding a robot of some kind and like having to repair it, and it being like its own character in the series that goes with them on adventures, I guess. And like Russell having to repair it and try and fix it, all this different stuff, but accidentally like giving it animal traits out of objects that it did originally have, where it should have been like a human-shaped robot. But then he accidentally makes it into an animal of some sort because that's the context that they have for what a being looks like. Chappie by Graycove. Pretty much. But that idea got scrapped. I like your drawing style. Can't wait to see what this becomes. Thank you. The art style is definitely what drew me to Graycove at first. It feels insanely unique, but I can't quite put my finger on it, if that makes sense. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I don't... Originally, when I first started drawing in the style, it was definitely inspired by, like Adventure Time, kind of. And then it kind of just, you know, changed and evolved as I kept drawing. So like the original sketches of Hazel and Griff, they look completely different. So they've changed quite a bit. Even in the comic, in like the first chapter versus the second chapter, they changed quite a bit. And partly that was me still figuring out the art style. I do want to go back eventually and update those pages and add backgrounds and stuff. But I didn't think anyone was going to read Graycove, so I was half-assing it a little bit. Here's the... there it is. Wait, can we see the OG designs? I don't know if I have them saved in my computer. I'll take a look. Just give me 1 second here. Oh, I do have them. Okay, 1 second. There is a character on it that I don't want to show yet, so I'm just gonna crop this image really quickly. So it's just Hazel, Griffin, Russell. Okay, yeah. So yeah, this was one of the first colored sketches I did of them. Obviously Hazel went through the most changes. The necklace size, patterns, her face looks ridiculous in this, frankly, and her ears look wonky. Griff definitely changed a lot. I made his design have a lot more squares in it than it has in this, and like this was more complex, I guess. Because I wanted, you know, they each have their own shape language, so like Hazel is more circular, oval, stuff like that. Griff has a lot more squares in his design, and Russell has more triangular shapes. But yeah, they all changed quite a bit. So that's the old one. Yeah, Russell's height really disappeared throughout the sketches, but he needs to be little. Russell gives me Night in the Woods vibes for some reason. Yeah, my original idea for Russell was he was a lot more of just like a chill guy, like classic stoner vibes. But once I started coming up with like their characteristics and everything like that, it wasn't quite what I wanted. I definitely prefer his more chaos gremlin personality. Reminds me of the Wolf Walkers graphic novel. Yeah, and I think I did watch that around the same time, so it definitely could have inspired, you know, the style. They all looked so stylish. Yeah. That design definitely has more details in it, but the problem with that, especially if you're doing animation, is they take a long time to draw, or a much longer time than the style I went with. And that's when I was designing them for the short film that I ended up doing for school. So I needed them to be pretty simplistic. I wonder what would happen if I went up to Griffin just boop. He probably wouldn't like it. Yeah, that seems like a good way to get hit. Not gonna lie. What's Wolfwalkers? Wolfwalkers is a wonderful animation by an Irish animation studio. They have a couple of other ones. I think two others. Gosh, I'm blanking on their names all of a sudden. They have a really unique art style, and the entire movie is just gorgeous. I completely recommend watching it. They also made it into a graphic novel. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the $5 that will go towards my caffeine addiction and help keep Graycove going. Like, I'm a science guy, but have absolutely no self-preservation instincts. I see a bear and I'm like, oh, so cute. Yeah, I've been in like actively in dangerous situations with bears, and I still have the instinct of like, that guy looks pretty huggable. So I get it. Right, yes, Song of the Sea and Secret of the Kells. I haven't seen Secret of the Kells, but I've seen Song of the Sea. Um, and that one and Wolfwalkers, they're both just such wonderful films and very beautiful art style. Their backgrounds, especially, are just in this really funky, cool style that I just love so much. Also, question from my brother, do you guys like Five Nights at Freddy's? He's big into that. Yeah, I was really into Five Nights at Freddy's when the first game came out, and like people were dropping like theory videos about the lore, and stuff like that. But after like the third game or so, I kind of lost interest. And I don't really know anything about the newer stuff. I definitely can't play the game. Just the anticipation of being jump scared bothers me so much. I hate jump scares. Knowing it's gonna happen is just torture for me. I think I tried playing the game and I couldn't make it past like the second night because I was like, nope, they're gonna jump at me. I hate it. But like, I'm also just really bad at horror games in general. I psych myself out way too much. I'm fine with horror movies. Like, most of the time, they don't get to me. Jasper can be thanked for that, because the second we started dating, he made me watch every horror movie under the sun, and it just completely desensitized me to them. But yeah, games still bother me. Jasper's complaining about things that get way too deep with lore, but we're making very deep lore with Graycove. Or trying to, anyways. Cause yeah, that's stuff that I like a lot too. I like the kind of shows that you can, when you watch it the second time, you see all the things and the hints that you missed. So like, Over the Garden Wall, Haunting of Hill House, and stuff like that, where like you miss those little hints throughout the story. And I'm just gonna change this background color a little bit because it's way too close to some of these feathers and I can't see where I'm coloring. There we go, that's a little better. Jasper, if you're a horror writer, is there a chance we could get a horror AU about Graycove? Yeah, probably not. It's more of a mystery kind of thing. Although I had some like very messed up ideas for future content. But I don't think it's quite the right story to be using the ideas in, so we do have another idea for a different series we want to start working on at some point. That's a lot more horror-ish, but it wouldn't be in the Graycove universe. I love it when I draw my OC wrong while animating, so I have to go back and edit her frame by frame. I've been doing this for like 3 hours now. Yeah, that's never fun. I've been there. Yeah, I've definitely done that in Graycove as well. If you go back and look at some of the old, or just some of the chapter 5 pages, the matriarch's belt suddenly disappears. Because I just forgot that she had it. So it's on my list of things to change later. And there's a bunch of other little mistakes that like most people aren't gonna notice, so it's not a very big deal. So I just have like a Google Doc going of all the pages and what mistakes I have to go back and adjust and fix. How long does it take for you guys to start and complete a chapter? I have absolutely no idea. Because we do 1 page a week, and most chapters are probably around 10 pages long, give or take. So, I guess 10 weeks. We've been doing it for over a year now. We've been posting. And I'd like to be able to move faster than that. It would be nice to get up to like 2 pages a week, if that were a possibility, but I work with another I work with Red Pans Productions, so I have to split my time between Graycove and my work with them. So it's just not feasible to be able to do 2 pages a week or, any more than one. Even just doing 1 per week, like the line art for this page has to go up on Coffee tomorrow afternoon, and I only scheduled the post today. Which I usually like having a couple days of buffer just to make sure it's done. Marshall, please make sure not to burn yourself out drawing. I've been burned out for like 2 years, my guy. I'm good, I'll just keep burning. Yeah, probably 8 hours per page, if not more. I haven't actually timed myself, because I usually do it over a couple of days while working on other projects. Like I might pause working on a page to go work on a short, or I might pause to go work on Red Pants stuff. So it's really hard to say. I should keep a timesheet at some point to see how long it takes me to do a page. But then, I have ones where I have really big complex backgrounds, and those take even longer because, it takes time. And yeah, we've planned about 4 books worth of content, but it's probably gonna take us like 2 years just to get to the end of book 1. Or I should say 2 more years on top of the year and whatever we've been working so far. Maybe longer. I have no idea. We'll figure it out as we go. Oh wait, the one frame I thought I had done wasn't even done. It's only 14 frames. It shouldn't be like this. Yeah, that's how animating goes. There's always one frame that's gonna catch you off guard. And yeah, in this description we're saying book a lot, like we have 4 books planned. It's more like, I don't know if you'd exactly call it a book. I don't know how long each one is going to end up being. Probably pretty long, like we have a lot of plans still with this one. But it's kind of just like the major story arcs that we have in mind. So it's like, yeah, if you're thinking in like TV terms, each season, I guess. That's everything on this one. I got her face spots and her shoulder spots. Okay. And I don't have the palette color for this carpet, but we'll do that later. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we have absolutely no idea how many chapters per book there will be. Like, even with this one, we had to readjust a little, so we were planning. I said it a couple of times of like, oh, next chapter is going to be mostly Hazel and Russell. But because this one has been dragging on for so long, we're going to be ending this chapter in a couple of pages and then have all of the stuff that we were originally going to have at the end of this chapter is going to be its own chapter because it's going to be longer than we originally anticipated. And like when we were planning everything out story-wise for the ending bit of this chapter, it was so long, we're like, yeah, no, we need a break in between these two things. So the chapter that's gonna be mostly Hazel and Russell is not next chapter, it's gonna be the one after that. So chapter 6 and 7 will be pretty short compared to chapter 5. Well, chapter 6 is going to be shorter compared to chapter 5, but I think chapter 7 is still going to be pretty long. The one that focuses on Hazel and Russell, because there's a lot of stuff I want to pack into it. Griff content will be delayed until chapter 8. Yeah, sorry about that. He is still gonna be a big character in the next chapter. So the one after chapter 5, chapter 6 is still gonna have a lot of Griff in it. But yeah, the Griff chapter isn't gonna be super long anyways. It's gonna be kind of like a shorter, kind of similar to those in-between little pages that I do, except a bit longer than that, so it's gonna be its own chapter, I guess. I'm probably not explaining this in the most articulate way, but that's okay. I'm back, half a coffee for you. Thanks, Lando, always appreciate the coffee money. Caffeine is very, very important to artists. We gotta get the lore into why Russell's so short. Oh, I can answer that right now. He's a fox. They're kind of small. That's the whole answer. I'm slightly broke from buying a GPU. Yeah, no, we always support, or we always appreciate your support, but make sure you're taking care of yourself first. Like, I like saying, like, to help keep the lights on in Graycove, but Graycove's not going anywhere. It might slow down if things got rough on our end or something, but, like, I'm not gonna stop making Graycove. From someone with an adoration for foxes, fair Marshall. Yeah, they're little guys, so Russell has to also be a little guy. It would be kind of fun to do a story of even littler guys, like a Redwall-esque story set in Graycove. But then we're looking at like book 5, and that's a lot of books away. So the disappearances won't really be solved in this book. I'm I'm not gonna comment on that one because I don't want to give everything away, but there will be a lot of answers in this book because we don't want to leave people hanging in between books. Jasper, I thought Graycove was supposed to be filler until we get to the Russell part. Yeah, this is just a really long filler before we get to the super important Russell backstory. Which we are gonna get to. We are gonna show more of Russell's backstory in chapter 7 now. Which unfortunately is quite a ways away since it takes me a week just to do a page, but we're getting there. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious about Russell's backstory, though. Yeah, I'm really, really excited to show his backstory. Because I think it'll be a really nice mixture of sweet and sad. And I'm just really excited to get to that part of the story, but the next chapter is also important plot-wise. So I can't rush through it like I'm very, very tempted to get to the Russell backstory. Bearded vultures are so cool and cute. I'm glad you included one in the comic. Yeah, I just think they're so neat, you know? And like all the videos you see where they're like swallowing bones whole is so metal. Plus, I just thought them paired with hyenas was like a very good on-theme pairing. Russ's backstory sounds like it's worth waiting for. I think so. I think it'll be worth it. I think the way that the backstory comes about will be really interesting. If not plot-wise, then visually, I guess. I don't wanna get into it too much again, cause spoilers. But I think it'll be a really cool chapter, and I'm really looking forward to start working on it. I hope this isn't a dumb question, but what's the little bundle of herbs / grass on Cherry's belt? Not a dumb question. I have absolutely no idea. I did not plan any specific plant in mind. I was just like, she's collecting herbs. She has herbs on belt. Plant shape. Cilantro? Maybe. Could be. I don't know enough about plants to know what that one looks like. To me, it just looks like a bundle of leaves. I didn't have anything. I love cilantro, please cilantro. Sure. Excellent choice. She's planning her dinner later on. She wanted some more herbs in it, I guess. It'll be interesting to see if anything from that character stream comes up in the actual story. Yeah, I think that would be cool. I would like to use at least one of them at some point, because I think that would be fun. And just like a fun little thing that, you know, people who are there for the stream would see and be like, oh my gosh, I know that character. Hazel's like, where'd you get that? Hibiscus and Cherry and Hazel become friends over plant things. Funny enough, there is going to be some dialogue about plant things on this page. So, good guess. Yes, let me add dish soap to my food. Some people like the taste of dish soap, I don't know what to tell you. Plus, we want to tell our story naturally rather than spoil it ahead of time. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to give too much away. Hence why I hide all of the dialogue while we're working on this page, because you gotta have something to look forward to when the page goes up. Yeah, exactly how Jasper said it. If Graycove was finished, I would love to get into it more, but we don't want to say too much and spoil the story for you guys. I could never handle your responsibility of holding back. It's a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I was just thinking a Q&A for personal questions, like I'd want to know who Griff's favorite sibling is. See, we can't even tell you that. Because there is a thing that comes up later, and that's all I can say on it. So, like, you can absolutely ask whatever questions you want. Whether or not we can answer is a whole other matter. Oh dang, I'm dumb. I was like, man, her ears look way darker than how I usually draw them. It's because I used the wrong color. That's better. I love seeing the progression in Griff, yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna have an interesting character progression. I mean, I think they all are. They're all gonna have their own character arcs and changes throughout the story that I'm very excited to show you all, but just another thing that's gonna take quite a while to, you know, be noticeable, because you can't just have them change all at once. Macon's story progression is going to be the most dynamic, I think. The background character is who you think is gonna have the biggest character development. It's very funny. Not a horse, it's the bear children. Macon will go from all around good dude and through many trials and tribulations become an even more cool dude. Graycove is secretly all about the Boar kids. Yeah, we've shown them exactly once, but they're secretly the main characters of this story. That's how we get ya. Should make otter character, they are adorable. I did make an otter character actually. Oh gosh, I'm completely blanking on which chapter it is, but it's during the sequence where Hazel and Griff are doing their guard duties in the market. You see you see Hazel talking to an otter child with the kid's mother standing like off to the side watching. And the little kid is like showing off its teddy bear, I think. Or some kind of toy. I had my OC in one of the background trust. Yeah, respectfully, we're not gonna do that. We don't want to put anyone's OCs in Graycove. You know, it was fun to design characters with everyone and like get their input, and that's probably the closest we would get to that. And then even then we told everyone during that stream there's no promise that these characters are going to end up in Graycove. I liked the idea of a lot of them, like especially the red panda one that owns the tea shop was probably my favorite. Well, I know, don't worry, I'm joking around. Okay, sounds good. Just wanted to check. Sorry, it says sorry we couldn't connect to the Webtoon service. That's a little strange. They might be down at the moment. Jasper says that his is fine. I haven't checked in a couple hours, so I'm not really sure. I had issues with the app before where I had to delete the app and then re-download it before it would work again, which can be very frustrating, but you might want to try that if it's not working, and that's the exact extent of my technical knowledge. So I can find the comic on Webtoon. Yep, it's on Webtoon and it's on our personal website, but we only update the chapters, or we only add the chapters to our website once they're finished. So we only have chapters 1 through 4 on our personal website at the moment. Have you thought of having a co-artist? Yeah, we can't afford to hire anyone on to help with it. If we could hire someone, I would only want to give them the responsibility of coloring the pages. Because I am a control freak who would have a hard time trusting another artist to work on it with me. But yeah, coloring when it's like a set palette that I've already predetermined is probably the extent that I would hire someone on for. But yeah, we don't have the money to pay someone right now, and I wouldn't feel comfortable getting someone to volunteer because I think people should be paid for their work. Yeah, no, Jasper's in school right now. He does not have the time to also help me with my Graycove stuff. His schedule is so packed right now. And like, he already helps me as much as he can by helping me with like all of the dialogue and the writing and stuff, which is very, very helpful because when I write dialogue, the characters kind of start to sound like robots, which isn't quite the vibe. Yeah, and he doesn't have the attention span for coloring. I barely have the attention span for coloring, which is why having a stream going is helpful. Guess I should color her chair before I move on. Can do it for free. Edna Sandler reference. Yeah, I'm sure it would be easy enough to find someone who would be willing to work for free, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable not paying someone for doing a service for me, you know? Like, it doesn't matter how excited or how much they would want to do it for free, I would still just feel bad. Like, I would want to pay them at least minimum wage for their time, and we just don't have the funds for that right now. They don't pay you for a service. Yeah, that's different. You're my fiance. Oh, yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but Graycove has a lot of swearing in it, because personally I really hate shows that have main characters who are adults but they don't speak like they are adults. And Griff and Hazel are both adult people and they're in adult situations. And if I were in a situation where I were being kidnapped, like how this chapter started, I would be using a lot of colorful language that isn't appropriate for kids. So yeah, it gives you a big scary warning of like, it's mature content, but it is only for cursing and for occasional violence, and that's it. Yeah, the cursing isn't the main reason. There is gonna be some level of violence throughout this. Nothing like extreme, and we're not going to be showing like gore or anything like that, partially because Webtoon won't let us. Webtoon is really particular about how much gore a series has, and we don't want to push the limit on that and get in trouble. Bro, we had 2 frames of fighting and maybe 5 curse words so far. I think that's still PG-13. They've dropped the F-bomb like 5 times just this chapter. I can't curse because I'm on a stream, and I think YouTube can be really particular about cursing on stream. So I've been trying not to, which is hard because I was raised with 2 tradesmen in the house. So cursing is a natural part of life for some of us. And yeah, we had some really, really messed up ideas for future stuff, but because of Webtoon's policy, we had to tone it down a bit. Which is fine. And like one day we might do a more graphic version that's like just on our website and not on Webtoon or something like that. Who knows? But yeah, the only things you have to worry about that are considered adults is that there's swearing and violence. That's it. Yeah, exactly how Jasper just said it. We're not saying that swearing is good or bad, to each their own, but it is a natural reaction to being in a stressful situation, and I just think it'd be really weird to have someone saying like, "Ah, shucks," as they're getting attacked or kidnapped or going through something traumatic, you know? And like there are lots of shows that find fun workarounds, like Fantastic Mr. Fox having the word cuss being the replacement, or like SpongeBob using dolphin sound effects and stuff like that. But there's only so many of those that actually work and don't feel super awkward or feel childish when you're looking at it, and we're not trying to make a childish story, I guess. Just in my opinion, but yeah, breaking a bone and just going jolly gee willikers. Exactly, like that just doesn't make sense in my mind, so it's like, yeah, occasionally they're gonna curse. I find it interesting when a story has unique in-universe replacements to curse words. Yeah, I also like when stories do that. But I find it's kind of a thin line between, like, it has to be very particular for it to work well, and I don't think I'm a skilled enough writer, I guess, or whatever, to come up with a good replacement that makes sense. Or just, that wouldn't sound just ridiculous, like I said, Fantastic Mr. Fox use of the word cuss in replacement, but the sentences still having the same structure if they were saying like a different curse word. I really liked. I thought that was really well done. But I don't think we could get away with doing the same thing or a similar thing. I don't think it would work as well. I just realized I forgot to draw part of her body right there. Or part of her armor, I should say. That's okay. I'll put it in a bit. You really hazeled this up. Wait, would goddammit be used in the story? I think it's already been used in the story. I think the beaver in the lumberyard says it. God confirmed. Yeah, no, it's not that. It's similar to how I said that they speak English. I'm not gonna tell you how they picked that up, but it would have been picked up similarly as that, as just a curse that they say but don't necessarily know the meaning of. Or if they do, they don't use it in the same way, you know? Having swear words was the first time anyone went, wow, this is not a kid's story, so that's a better way for people to find out rather than showing them a corpse. Yeah, exactly, and like, because Graycove is in a very, like, childlike art style, or like cartoony art style, we've been trying to be very careful with making sure that everything has like Webtoon has like the content warning and stuff like that, because we don't want children to accidentally end up reading this without realizing that it's not for kids. And similarly, using curse words, like let's say hypothetically Graycove got published into an actual book in a couple of years. Having the knowledge from working at a bookstore, one of the ways that we would determine whether or not something was for kids or not was like doing a quick flip through and like reading some of the lines. So seeing a line where like they just drop the F-bomb would be a big indicator, like, oh yeah, nope, this is not for kids, make sure it's on like the adult graphic novel shelf or whatever. And so that parents would also know, and like that's the way parents would check books very quickly to make sure it's appropriate for their kids, is just kind of flipping through it. So yeah, we deal with darker themes in this, we just want to make sure kids aren't reading it. Yeah, exactly, and like that happened with Happy Tree Friends, exactly like what you said. And like I also watched Happy Tree Friends when I was probably too young to be watching it, because my brother knew what it was and thought it'd be funny to show it to me, which was a very big shock. I'm 17 and I still get traumatized looking at that stuff. It's just gore, like, dude, I don't want to see that. Yeah, that's completely understandable, and like, both Jasper and I are somewhat desensitized to gore because we like to watch horror movies, and like I was raised in a hunting family, and I still hunt, so you get a little numb to it, not like extreme gore that I still find gross and upsetting and I don't like watching it. But you know, we don't want to have a super gory story because there are so many people who don't like to see that. Along with wanting to follow Webtoon's guidelines. I can't even kill bugs. If I see a bug in my house, I pick it up and put it outside. Fair enough. Yeah, conversation shift. How to make hyena soup? Is that soup for hyenas or made out of hyenas? Because either way, I think it's gonna be pretty gross. ingredients: 1 whole chicken, 2 potatoes, diced carrots. Okay, well that just sounds like chicken noodle soup. I joke that I have a 6th sense for Graycove content because I just happened to check my phone and a short was posted less than 2 minutes prior. See, Jasper has a very interesting 6th sense for when a timer is about to go off, which is so funny. Every single time we set a timer for cooking or something, he checks it when it's like 30 seconds before it's about to go off. Like all the time. It's crazy. I also just realized the matriarch is missing her scar in this one. Apparently I was really tired when I was finishing this page. Theory time. I think Hazel is a deer. Crazy theory. Spot on guess. I don't know how you figured it out, but you cracked the case. Yeah, she's secretly just a really big fox. She had a growth spurt. You know how it is. I want to know who's doing all these piercings immaculate work. Could Hazel dunk? See, I think she has the perfect height for dunking and that she should be great at it, but I think herself personally, like she would just completely fumble it and miss, or like ram her head into the hoop or something. Those are bullets on her necklace, right? That's not just me, right? Yes, you are correct. Those are bullets on her necklace. Live bullets, I should say. They have not been fired. Sorry if this is a lore question that you can't answer yet. Will answer, have already answered, but do they speak and write in human English, or is it just translated for readers and viewers? Funny enough, we talked about it earlier in the stream, but yes, they speak and write in English. For the hyenas in Graycove specifically, we might look at like other groups that don't speak English in the future, because that, I feel like that would just be kind of fun. But yes, they speak and write English in Graycove. For reasons I cannot tell you. We need more wolf protagonists. I mean, isn't there? There's already so many. Look at Griff's family, it's huge. We'll have a story and it's just his mom's siblings. And those are all of the characters. That's it. Could you turn up the mic a bit? You're a little quiet. I forget which one I'm supposed to turn up, but I can try to speak a little louder. And I can hear Jasper walking, so I think he's gonna come fix it for me and make it a little louder. Okay, hopefully that's better. Jasper just upped it a little bit, so let us know if that helped. Hopefully it's a little louder. I love your characters. Thank you! Spin-off idea, Graycove Soul Survivor. Who would the Soul Survivor be? The last human on the other side of the planet, like Russia or something. That would be kind of funny. How far in the future does Graycove take place? Like, is Chernobyl still radioactive? It would be a sick idea to imagine some mutated creature in the Graycove universe. I don't think I want to say how far in the future Graycove takes place, and I have absolutely no idea how long radiation in Chernobyl would still exist for. I don't know when it would stop existing, or when it would fade out enough to not have an effect on people there. Or I should say animals there. So, no idea. Awesome, thanks for joining us, Norse Horse. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Do Russell and his dad know what humans look like, or do they just see their skeletons and think, man, what weird looking creatures? Because of the amount that they go into human ruins and stuff like that, they would know what humans would have looked like because they would see things like billboards, advertisements, posters, you know, there are pictures everywhere of people. So they would know from that kind of what they looked like. But I think, like, people like Griff would have no idea. Because he doesn't really leave the Graycove area. So it depends, like, character to character what their experiences are. Awesome, thanks for joining us, Cloven. Have a good night. Actually, this is probably a good time for me to take a short break. I'm gonna go drink some water and rehydrate, and I will be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, I am back. And yeah, exactly what Jasper just said. We make Russell out to be very goofy, and he is goofy. He's a goofy guy. And like in a lot of the shorts, he comes off as dumb because he is illiterate. But he is also one of the smartest characters in Graycove, which we haven't been able to actually show off yet, but will eventually. Yeah, his brain is so big he gets lost in it. So yeah, very smart guy. He's just also like super dyslexic. Never bothered learning how to read, but has his own system kind of guy. Like, I use a lot of the audios from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for Russell, because he has a lot of similarities to the character Charlie, where Charlie is also so dumb, head super empty, not a smart guy, also illiterate, but is weirdly good at specific things. So like, he can play the keyboard, he can play a bunch of sports, like he can compose music, stuff like that. And Russell's isn't the same, like he doesn't have like the keyboard thing, but he has his own special interests where he is like the smartest guy in town for these things that I don't want to get into because spoilers. And I really enjoy that as a character type. Yeah, exactly. One reason why Charlie is dumb is because he huffs so many chemicals and has been damaging his brain for years, which Russell does not do. I hope we all have a great time no matter who ends up winning. I want to kill that guy. It's probably one of my favorite audios. It's just funny. If you choke and die, you're disqualified. Yeah, that seems like how most games are. If you die in the middle of it, you're probably disqualified. Gosh, phone at 4%. Well, it's nice having you here with us, Wolf. Just squint your eyes while reading the title card, and it's like a new comic. Yeah, we'll release a second comic called Cove Gray, but every single page is so blurry you can't even read it. Good luck figuring out what it's about. Evil Graycove would have a short hazel and a tall Russell. Yeah, we'll just do a maned wolf paired with one of those deer that are like a foot tall. Perfect. Hazel and Wessel. Yeah, they just go to another town and they meet these characters and they leave the interaction like, oh, that was really uncomfortable. I don't know how I felt about that. I don't know what it was about those guys, but they're weird. Yeah, the matriarch is just super loving and maternal. Wouldn't hurt a fly. I'd lose the travel board in a heartbeat. Yeah, I bought him a metal file like 2 weeks ago, and neither of us can find it. It has fallen off the face of the planet. I had to buy another one. How would you best describe how Griff would sound? I know the YouTube shorts are pretty good reference, but which one best fit him? So my main idea for him, especially when I first started designing him, oh gosh, I don't remember the actor's name, but he plays Nick in New Girl, was very much an inspiration for Griff's character. And his voice would be the one that I would pick if in a dream world where I could pick any actor in the world for these characters, he would definitely be my top pick. I have also heard lots of other voices where I'm like, that's a great Griff voice, but consistently that's the one I think of. And yeah, Robin from Stranger Things, actress, was one of my top picks for Hazel's voice. I've been wanting to use one of the Stranger Things audios for Hazel at some point, because there are a couple of funny ones, but I just haven't done it yet. The easy characters to color. That's why I love coloring Griff. He only has 3 colors. Nice and easy. I mostly said Felicia Day because of that one duet she did with NPH for that musical movie. I'm having a hard time remembering who Felicia Day is. I recognize the name, but I'm having a hard time picturing the face and or voice. Griff also doesn't have a ton of spots. Yeah, exactly. It's just easier. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. that song you played in the car ride 3 days ago, you goofball? That means nothing to me. I play so many songs. I'm like, I have a new favorite song every single day. Do you listen to chill hop music outside of these streams? No. I'm not a huge fan of lo-fi music. I need some words to my songs. Although I do sometimes like classical music, but that's a different vibe. I can't remember what I ate for dinner 2 nights ago. No, I'm gonna remember a song from 3 days ago. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna remember. I barely remember the titles of the songs I listen to. Oh, right. Okay, now I remember, yeah. Now I remember who she is. Yeah, that was one of the other voices I liked for her, but I think the actress who plays Robin in Stranger Things is probably would be my top choice. I usually listen to video game soundtracks. They have some of the nicest melodies, and they sometimes have nice memories attached to them. Yeah, I can play it. I think most of the songs I can play on the piano is from various video games, and I can play exactly one Minecraft song because Jasper really wanted me to play it. Have you listened to Wanderstop soundtrack? I have not. I don't think I recognize the title of that game. It sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah, Portal's a really cool game, and I like the idea of it a lot, but unfortunately I can't play it myself, because I get motion sick really easily. And like the second it starts flipping around and stuff like that, I have to stop. But I watched Jasper do a playthrough of it and just looked away whenever he had to flip through a portal or something. So I at least got the like storyline part of it. almost sounds like bonding. Yeah, it's a good way to spend time together, and like there are lots of games that I like the idea of but can't play either because it'll make me motion sick, like Portal, or because it's a horror game and I'm a huge wimp. So Jasper will play them for me while I get to watch and still enjoy the game, but not have to be the one making the movements or the decisions. So we've been playing through that Silent Hill remake, and it's so scary, and I'm a huge wimp, so it's been nice to watch him play it. I did the voice for Hazel's father. I kind of just winged it. I figured he'd have a deep voice, but looking back, I feel like the commissioner from Blue Blood fits him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that is, if it's a movie, TV show. So I don't know who you're talking about, but yeah, I'm having a hard time mentally placing what Herb's voice would be. He definitely fits the like kind of somewhat goofy dad persona in my mind. But he has a more complex background than just that, obviously, because I don't want him to be a one-dimensional character. So yeah, I don't know. Funny hot take, he would sound like Scooby-Doo if he's really goofy. That would be so funny. People are going missing in town and he's just in the corner saying, "Oh, ruh-roh, Raggy." Walter White, not the actor, specifically Walter White. Although I do love Bryan Cranston's voice acting. Like him in Isle of Dogs, he did such a good job. So definitely an option in this hypothetical realm where you could hire any person in the world to do voice acting. Alternate universe. Yeah, we don't have the money to hire on an actor of any level. We can't hire someone to color pages. Oh wait, you know, you were replying to that one. Why are you blue? Him to Hazel when her spots glow. That's funny. I should try finding a clip of that. That might be a fun short to make. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, and it was suggested that I like that as an idea for Herb's voice, because now I'm thinking about Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, and that's the vibe I want him to have. Where did I grab that color from? Did I use the right color for the vulture here? Okay, I did. That's good. Asking because of a YouTube short, do you think edibles mean something else to the characters? If chemicals affect them differently, it could just be something like sugar, lol. No, for that one, they were doing drugs. Like I said earlier, this is a bit more of an adult comic for situations, and that is something a lot of adults do. And Russell would be one of them. Herb full Snape voice. I think we're gonna have a problem getting to Alan Rickman. Just a thought. And I don't think the Snape voice would quite fit Herb. Okay, I think this one is mostly done, except for the chair. Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't want to condone doing drugs through the comic, but it's similar to swearing, where like it is a thing adult people do, and it will be shown once through the comic that we have planned out, not weed specifically, but like a drug related thing, but it is entirely for a plot point. It's not just to throw out there and to do it, you know? And that is in the far future though, so I won't say anything more than that, but... matriarch's pillow on her chair. So we're just gonna leave that for now and I'll deal with it later. How many coloring layers do you have? So I just have one for the characters. They all go on the same layer. So I label that character flats because it's just the flat colors. There's no shading or anything. And then I have one for the background as well. And I like to separate those, so if I decide to put any shading on the chair or something, then I can just do a clipping mask with a multiply layer over the background flats and it won't affect the character ones at all. Yeah, like Jasper just said, there's a line in this panel that I like a lot and is funny and is probably gonna catch some of you off guard. But if you want to know what it's gonna be, you're gonna have to either subscribe to our coffee and see it tomorrow or wait till next Friday. More or less spicy than You're Not Sorry You're Scared. Probably more? I don't know if the You're Not Sorry You're Scared would be considered a spicy line. The one she's saying in here is definitely like a sassy line, if that makes sense. But you'll see. It's funny. Gotta go. Guys, been fun. Well, thanks for joining us, Sushi Cat. Have a lovely rest of your evening. There's a comic where Velma and Shaggy have a kid? That's wild. Yeah, I agree. I like the idea of Weed Lord and Book Girl as a pairing. That's cute. How's my day, Marshall? It's good. I've just been working lots. I'm wrapping up a short for Red Pants right now. I just have like 4 more drawings to go. And then whatever edits that they want me to do once they see it. So, spend most of my day doing that. Of course you like Weed Lord, but girl, Marshall, you're both of those things. Yeah, you're not wrong. We are probably gonna wrap up pretty soon here. I usually like to end my streams around 9:30. And I have not had dinner yet, so I'm getting a little hungry. But we made it pretty far in the coloring. I was hoping we'd be able to finish it, but I kept getting distracted answering questions and stuff like that, and reading the chat because you guys are very entertaining. But I think we're gonna call it a night here, and I'll have to wrap this up sometime tomorrow and get it ready for posting. But I hope you all had fun watching me coloring these pages and refusing to answer lots of questions because they're spoilers. The next page comes out on Webtoon tomorrow at 11:30, so keep an eye out for that, or if you're subscribed to our Coffee as a member, you'll be seeing this page and all the dialogue. But I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next week.